Officers moved forward and surrounded Mendeecees with such urgency that even the cameras flashed in a frenzy. Even the most daring reporters remained silent. With her hands trembling and mascara smeared from the tears she had pleaded with herself not to cry, Tamar remained motionless. She never intended for this to be made public. She never desired her personal health scare, a rumor that turned into handcuffs after spreading like wildfire. However, there was no turning back once that envelope leaked and Yandy appeared in court with unexpected documents. Mendeecees did not resist or fight. He hardly glanced at Tamar. He felt deceived rather than outraged, as if he couldn't comprehend how quickly rumors turned into truth. Every second, phones recorded people shouting questions. Like vultures circling new chaos, bloggers streamed live. Then Yandy showed up without hiding. Cold, not rattled. Be calm. The kind of serenity that results from prolonged anguish. When she spoke, the audience froze at her first words. To keep my family safe. I said nothing. But that is no longer the case. The globe leaned nearer. Everything was about to explode. There was a distinct story long before handcuffs, headlines, and compromised medical records. One is much more intricate and quieter. Mendeecees and Tamar were never intended to come into close contact. They first connected through easy laughter during production breaks, backstage chats, and industry circles. At first, nothing is sensational, but being close makes things possible. And possibilities develop into rumors long before they emerge veracity, or perhaps it never comes to pass. Just suspicion masquerading as reality. Tamar was at risk. Then, in the midst of her personal struggles, family strife, and music pressures, she was looking for someone who just listened. And the endearing, perceptive, compassionate Mendeecees listened. A bond developed, one that blurred boundaries via consolation rather than action. Until it causes harm to someone, emotional intimacy is invisible. Yandy consistently claimed that she sensed something wasn't right before any proof showed up. She observed the softening of borders. Jokes soften. Messages sent late at night go unanswered. She thought there was something that neither party wished to publicly acknowledge. However, Tamar wasn't the antagonist in her own tale. She was a woman trapped in the limelight of celebrity, where every vulnerability turned into rumors and every doctor's appointment into a plot. When she told very few people about a health scare she had months prior, an ambiguous test result, not positive, but ambiguous, because ambiguity fosters activity. It can occasionally be worse than confirmation. Fear, quiet. Tamar pleaded with Yandy to keep the quiet between them. However, if jealousy taints trust, it might deteriorate. Yandy found that the test wasn't merely frightening. It was recorded, stored, and time-stamped in a medical system that attorneys could access. Additionally, Tamar's test file became leverage when the court drama surrounding Mendeecees increased, including money issues, claims of adultery, and custody discussions. A weapon, not proof. A woman's fear was used as evidence in court. Yandy thought Tamar was concealing more than a medical scare. According to insiders, she was afraid that Tamar and Mendeecees had been closer than anyone acknowledged. Old chats screenshots appeared again, words of affection and familiarity that hurt more than betrayal. Nothing overt, but enough to undermine confidence. Mendeecees, meantime, was a shadow of guilt. He never acknowledged being more than emotionally intimate. However, marriages can fail due to emotional intimacy even in the absence of tangible evidence. And Yandy discovered secrecy when she confronted him and demanded accountability and the truth. Rather than coziness, she decided to take matters into her own hands. People tend to forget that Tamar and Yandy formerly exchanged advice about parenthood and stardom, laughed together, and hugged during reunions before scandals and reality TV flame wars. But even pleasant memories are poisoned by unresolved tension. There were rumors of a visit to a private clinic. Someone recorded, someone sold information, and someone whispered. And then everyone saw the spectacle in the courthouse. I was with Tamar that night, not intimate but emotionally present, enough to ignite the internet, enough to make Yandy feel she hadn't been paranoid, Mendeecees admitted, shocking the courtroom. She had been correct to raise questions. Enough to cause Tamar to sob and ask the world to realize that fear is not a crime. This was no longer simply a scandal. It was trauma on display, and public opinion was divided. Like glass, some accused Tamar of lying, others branded Yandy heartless, still others blamed Mendeecees alone, still others claimed everyone was guilty in their own way. Families became involved, group conversations leaked, cast members took sides, and as the pressure increased, something even more sinister came to light. An old document in Tamar's file that suggested a paternity consultation with Mindy's proof, not confirmation, but sufficient to prevent silence. which broke down outside the courthouse hours later when Mendeecees were abruptly detained by police for interrogation in response to public outcry demanding answers. The court never issued an arrest warrant, but public unrest compelled authorities to act. Supporters took to social media to demand responsibility, tagging DA offices and demanding investigations. The commotion reached officials, and Tamar is now hiding from cameras. At last, Yandy speaks, and Mendeecees sits in a holding cell, unconvicted but surrounded by rumors, court testimonies, and a world demanding the truth. The question is not whether Tamar is ill, but rather if someone or everyone lied. The holding cell wasn't spectacular, but scandal makes everything theatrical. Mendeecees sat alone himself, head down, elbows on knees, reliving every moment that led to this cement bench. In scandal, truth turns into a weapon, and a weapon this keen inevitably hurts someone. Tamar's shaky voice, Yandy's icy gaze, the accusations, the courtroom disclosure, the whispers he never thought that one emotional night years ago could turn into police involvement, test leaks, and millions of people analyzing his life online like uninformed investigators. Outside, the courthouse steps were transformed into a war as supporters of Tamar sobbed, prayed, and shouted that she should have privacy. Supporters of Yandy contended that she had every right to defend her marriage, and others asserted that both women were victims of Mendeecees' secrets. Everyone was boisterous, and no one agreed. Then Yandy appeared in front of the cameras, wearing little makeup and with stiff shoulders, not as a triumphant villain, but as a woman who had finally reached her breaking point with microphones encircling her like weapons. Tips. I didn't want this, she said, her eyes glossy but fierce. But I refused to be painted as the villain for exposing what hurt me, she said, her voice trembling but steady enough to quiet the street. I kept Tamar's medical information private. Frightened documents were already being pulled by the court. Reporters yelled, "Did Tamar cheat with your husband?" All I did was stop protecting someone who never protected me. Yandy didn't flinch. I regret putting my confidence in those who exploited my devotion. Did she conceal medical results? Do you regret exposing her? The internet exploded. Tamar was watching it all through tinted windows from a black SUV parked nearby, her nails digging into her palm. She wanted to shout, to jump into that crowd and defend herself, but pain makes even the most courageous people cringe. Her phone kept vibrating while she sat motionless, with messages, missed calls, and notifications piled up like accusations. Eventually, a voice message from an anonymous source said, "Tamar, you need to know that someone inside the clinic leaked your file." Her breath caught. It wasn't Yandy, it wasn't Mendeecees, it was someone closer. Only her doctor and family knew the specifics. Before she could comprehend anything, though, her phone rang once more. This time, it was Mendeecees from the detention facility, and she paused before picking it up. "I never wanted this to go public, but there's something we need," he added, in a quiet voice. "Horse Tamar, I need to talk to you. Alone." Silence stretched like a noose between them. Tamar swallowed hard. "Why we are?" Something Yandy doesn't know. Something nobody knows. Tamar's heart fell. The rumor wasn't about illness. That note in your file wasn't about a scare. It was about a test. A paternity test request. He took a deep breath. He said, "I need you to tell the truth, Tamar." Before she could say anything more about the potential kid, what we did that evening is known to both of us. Every muscle, breath, and thought in her body froze. The SUV fell silent. The cameras outside, still in disarray. Yandy talking to reporters a few yards away. But Tamar sat by herself in that car and said something that completely altered. "We both know what we did that evening," he said. "You swore you would never bring that up." "I swore when I thought it was buried." Tamar finally found her voice, a whisper that broke like glass. It was not. After the phone call finished, there was a hush that was louder than the courtroom audience. Tamar emerged from the SUV, trembling, and with tears in her eyes, but beneath the fear was something new. Determination. She walked straight. Tamar cleaned her cheek, straightened her back, and spoke without flinching in the face of microphones thrust in her face, dazzling lights, and people yelling her name. Reporters yelled, cameras surged, and Yandy turned mid-enter, eyes wide. "I remained silent to protect everyone concerned, but if they want the truth, I'll tell it." Mendeecees was trapped within walls, unable to get out. Tamar took a deep breath. Me and Mendeecees weren't just emotional that evening. The crowd was shaken with shock. Before anyone could say anything, Tamar went on. "There was a moment, a mistake, one we both swore to forget, and that file wasn't about HIV." Yandy stumbled back, treachery striking her like a slap. "About making sure the error didn't result in a baby." Screams filled the street. Phones flew. Blogs crashed. Twitter broke into atomic fire. and Tamar stopped sobbing. The world now knew the secret, even the court wasn't prepared for a baby test. A night erased, 3 lives irretrievably entangled, and she walked away, head high, finally holding the truth she never wanted to share. The true twist is that someone else leaked the file, someone near. Someone silent, but we don't know who it was. But we will find out, because the identity of the leaker will be revealed during the next hearing. The world didn't wait for an explanation. Tamar's confession went viral in real time. Fan pages snipped her message, blogs published headlines in less than 5 minutes, and Twitter erupted with threads debating who betrayed whom first. Someone won't survive in terms of reputation. The next 48 hours were filled with digital pandemonium, as rumors spread like wildfire. Tamar and Mendeecees had a secret night, a paternity concern, a hidden file, and now there was a chance that someone close had revealed Tamar's most vulnerable secret. Streams everywhere, podcasts airing emergency episodes, and TikTok investigators creating timelines akin to a criminal investigation. Tamar was exploited and vulnerable, and half of the internet wept for her. Her brand sites were overrun with snake emojis, and Yandy, who had previously kept her ground, was now drowning in comments that she was unable to stop. She concealed something that may ruin a marriage. She was accused by women of weaponizing the trauma of another woman, and even celebrities indirectly disparaged her. Quotes about loyalty, privacy, and sisterhood were posted on Instagram stories without names. Yet everyone, I didn't know about the baby test. I was never informed. If I had known, I would have handled it differently. Yandy finally answered in public, terrified but resolute. However, the internet was more interested in blood than subtlety. Meanwhile, in the detention center, Mendeecees had to deal with a reality that no camera could change. And he was aware that his silence may be seen as guilt. He made a voice memo statement, saying, "I'm not proud of my past. I regret that night, but I never abandoned." His attorneys pleaded with him to remain silent, but public opinion was a courtroom louder than any judge. Fans replayed it like a confession, and Yandy listened by herself, jaw tense, eyes red, until the second bomb dropped. "My family. The truth is deeper than what y'all think." At 2:13 a.m., a screenshot of an email from the clinic written to Evelyn Braxton, yes, Tamar's mother, was posted on Twitter. It wasn't Tamar, Yandy, or Mendeecees. 3 months prior to the court case, the email asked for verification authorization for Tamar's file, indicating that someone had access long before Yandy ever touched the paper. Evelyn published it, causing comments to spin out of control. Was the mother involved? This goes deeper than we anticipated. Then Evelyn shared a screenshot of an Instagram caption that thousands of people removed within minutes. "Sometimes a mother has to do what her daughter is too scared to do, even if she despises you for it." Tamar spotted it and went live right once. Was Evelyn the leaker? Did she think Mendeecees needed to be revealed? Or did she think Tamar was concealing a truth too huge to defend? The internet froze. Her voice broke as soon as she spoke. "I love my mother, but I did not approve of this. If she leaked my file, she did not protect me. She humiliated me." Tears streamed, anger trembling beneath. Grief. Yandy unexpectedly joined the live stream. Tamar did not leave. 2 ladies were in pain, face to face, with thousands of people watching. Yandy talked quietly. Tamar wiped her eyes and said, "I never wanted you destroyed. I just wanted truth." "And what about my truth?" "You used my fear to win an argument." Tamar said, "You hurt me too. That night with him, even if it was a mistake, you knew what it meant. You stayed solid, me insecure." Yandy let out a sigh, voice trembling. "I felt humiliated. I wasn't attempting to steal your spouse. Rather, I was attempting to endure my own suffering." Silence, heavy human. Then shock. On Tamar's live, an off-screen voice questioned, "Are you going to tell them the rest?" The camera shifted to reveal Tracy's kid clutching his phone nervously, as viewers flooded comments. Is he referring to rest? He paused before continuing. This leak wasn't simply Evelyn's fault. Someone else was engaged. It wasn't just Yandy. Months earlier, a Braxton family email sent the file to production. Yandy's eyes widened. Tamar gasped, and live conversation immediately came in. He inhaled. Tamar. It was Tanda, he thought. And the live cut. Internet turmoil broke into flame. Sisters, family, betrayal from within. What we know is that Mendeecees is in custody and that Tamar's file was released externally. Why was the file leaked? Revenge, jealousy, pressure from producers, payment. There are no answers, just suspicions. The baby test exists. Yandy regrets the procedure. Evelyn knew Tanda was now implicated. Something in the file is still hidden. The next court date is public, and this scandal will be uncovered when the judge reads the final sealed letter. Beyond repair. After Tamar's live stream unexpectedly ended, screenshots went viral, reaction films emerged in a matter of minutes, and Twitter Spaces ran till every blog title screamed the same thing. Towanda released the file. Braxton family treachery. Tamar versus her own. Thousands of people debated if Tonda was the true traitor or just another player under the sway of producers. I didn't disclose the file to harm Tamar. Instead, I sent it to Towanda, who eventually shared her response, a lengthy closed notes paragraph that sent shockwaves after the situation worsened within hours. I believed that intervention was preferable to silence because she was spiraling and needed help. But the internet didn't buy the softness. Fans filled comments with fire as exposure, not intervention. You fueled the machine that killed your sister. When family members do this, it's worse than when enemies do it. Towanda attempted to. I wasn't trying to destroy her, but she changed, shut us out, drove everyone away, and defended herself once again, going live, unsteady, defensive, emotional. I had no idea it would go to court. I had no idea that production would reveal it, but even in her speech, regret and explanation intertwined like wires. She claimed to be attempting to protect Tamar from herself, but the world perceived treachery right away when Tamar openly unfollowed Towanda, and screenshots appeared everywhere. Tony then tweeted a mysterious remark. Tamar, on the other hand, felt every knife. Family doesn't necessarily equate no names, but the internet filled the blanks. Even Evelyn came out once more, this time via a cousin's voice message that was posted online. Her tone was somber. The Braxton family was once a cohesive unit, but I never intended for it to go this far. I believed that exposing the truth would heal us. But of music, reality TV, and sisterhood now seemed like shattered glass, each piece stabbing someone new. Meanwhile, two groups of supporters gathered outside the detention facility, each holding a poster for Tamar and Yandy split along loyalty lines, with one group yelling, "Stand with Tamar." Yandy had a right to the truth, yelled another. Mendeecees' name resounded and celebrated or loathed. What was his role? Tamar met with solicitors inside the jail to prepare for the impending court, and they cautioned him that his public confession could be used against him. Did he really confess everything, or did he merely tell what kept him safe? I thought silent to protect anyone. He ran emotional intimacy plus a request for a paternity test equals motive for misbehavior charges. Outside of this emotional warfare, bloggers went deeper. Private life used like this. I never begged for jail. I never asked for the world to treat my name like a scandal. All I wanted was peace and possibly forgiveness. It was a shocking statement. Some truths were kept hidden to protect more people than just me. Mendeecees, who else was she protecting? As tensions increased, the judge set a full public hearing, allowing the media and approving a live feed. Yandy, a child, herself. Rumors got darker, support grew louder, hate grew harsher, and the final sealed file will be examined on camera. If Tamar's truth is innocent, she will be let fall apart. Families will face each other, secrets will come to light, and someone will break on record, and everyone will be watching every second. The steps of the courthouse resembled the Grammy Awards rather than a courtroom. Bloggers and cameramen were crammed together. Fans shouted names like they were in the front row at a concert.